Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about more of a concept. That which does not destroy us makes us stronger, is an old saying that I've heard many times throughout my life, but I think it particularly applies to Generation X. I'm going to go over some of the things that we have been through as a generation together, but also as individuals. Things that were hard to live through, but we made it. Most of us have. Of course, we lost a lot of Gen Xers along the way, but everyone here today listening or watching this video, we've made it this far, and we're strong for having done so. And we talk a lot about our toys and our the latchkey thing and the neglectful parents, that kind of stuff. And if you really actually think about it, it is amazing that a lot of us survived cooking our own food, and the appliances and stuff weren't as safe back then. I mean, an electrical fire was a lot more of a hazard then than it is now. I mean, they've got so many safety things. I've built houses, helped to build houses. I haven't built houses on my own. I've helped to build houses on a crew, and just the safety stuff that goes into them now is amazing. It'd be hard to start an electrical fire nowadays, as long as it's built to code. So living through that, growing up like that, and being forced to, feed yourself and to cook for yourself and maybe possibly your younger siblings, that was dangerous. Just eating was dangerous back then. Not only that, but our toys were dangerous. Lead paint, all this other stuff that, just the metal toys. And so our childhood was dangerous. And a lot of us have scars from that. And I can't even sit here and list all the near misses I had where I could have, left this world because of doing something stupid with a dangerous toy, or something that I made myself, make myself a spear out of a stick and go running with it, that kind of stuff. So it's amazing that so many of us survived that, seriously. But we were stronger coming out of that childhood. We were stronger for that. We had a lot of scars, built up a lot of emotional calluses, probably built some walls too, emotional walls. So we were stronger coming out of that childhood like that. We had to be self-reliant. A lot of us had to be self-reliant. If we couldn't cook food for ourselves, then we would go hungry. We had to figure it out. Read the instructions on the back of the box and do it. I think we were quite a bit stronger for having lived that way. I mean, even if you go back in time and look at further back in time, kids didn't grow up that way. Yeah, they had it hard in other ways. They would have to go out into a field and hoe and farm or whatever, because a lot of people were farmers back in the 40s and 50s. So, yeah, kids had it hard. I'm not saying kids didn't have it hard in every generation, but we had it hard in a special way, all right? Back in the 40s and 50s or whatever, Mom would cook you dinner. You'd go out and into the field all day and then come home and Mom would cook you dinner, have dinner waiting on you. We didn't have that. We went to school all day and came home and had to figure out how to feed ourselves. And a point of a lot of my videos is that we are different than the generations that came before us and those that came after us. Those that came after us are all plugged in with the internet, grew up with the internet from day one. We didn't. We grew up in an analog world, and it changed into this internet digital stuff after we became adults. So we're right straddling that fence, right in the middle of that. And it's a crazy time to live. It really is. We have seen more change than any other generation on the planet to have ever existed. I mean, even maybe fire, but I don't think so. I don't think fire changed the way people live as much as the internet and the high-speed internet and all that. We've been through a lot of change. And then as we became adults and moved into that And the 90s was kind of a, it was a grunge rock era of not great economy. I mean, it wasn't like a Great Depression or anything, but it just wasn't great. It was just kind of flat. There wasn't a lot of growth in the 90s. It was just a kind of, it was great for music and that kind of stuff. Some really good things happened in the 90s, but it wasn't great in terms of financially. You just kind of muddled through the 90s, partying and stuff or whatever, or worked and partied. Anyway, my personal experience, I just kind of muddled through the 90s and tried to stay alive, And then came 9/11, and that was hard. 9/11 was hard, no matter whether you were in New York or not, all over the country. That was hard. That was difficult. And a lot of us Gen Xers cowboyed up and went over to the desert because of that, because of 9/11. A lot of people, and a lot of them spent years over there. And the majority of those people were Gen Xers. We were of age. I mean, you had some, boomers that hadn't retired yet in the military, and you had some of the older millennials that maybe were old enough to go. The majority of them, though, were Gen Xers. So that was a major impact. That had a major impact on our generation. And all these things combined have made us stronger as individuals and as a generation. To be part of Gen X is not the same as being a millennial or being a boomer. I mean, they might say it, but I don't see the same amount of feeling when I hear other generations talking about, their generation or being a part of their generation. I don't see the same amount of feeling when it comes to other generations, not like Gen Xers have about being Gen X. Okay, then you move on, and we had that big recession, 2009, around then. Turns out the entire housing market was a big scam, some kind of Ponzi scheme, and the real estate bubble burst. We survived that. Then we survived the pandemic, and we're still here. As far as it goes, from what I see and what I've experienced in my own life, we as individuals are the strongest out there. Strongest as in mental and emotional toughness, survivability. We're survivors. We're strong as individuals and as Generation X. Together as a group, we're the strongest of the generations. And I don't think that can even be argued, honestly. I mean, I've had people get in the comments and argue that, yeah, boomers have been through stuff and whatever. Yeah, they have. I've never claimed that the boomers didn't have it hard, or the millennials didn't have it hard, or Gen Z doesn't have it hard, or any of the generations. All of them had it hard. But none of them lived through what we've lived through like we've lived through it. They just haven't. And some of them I don't think would make it. We've survived some very difficult times. And I listed a lot of them on my other video about why doesn't Gen X care. But they pertain here as well. The AIDS epidemic and all these other things that we survived, that if they didn't make us physically tough like the merry-go-rounds did and the swing sets and stuff, then they made us mentally tough or emotionally tough. We've been building this toughness, this strength for 50 years now? 50 some odd years, between 40 and 50 years, depending on exactly which year you were born. So to wrap this up, I'd just like to say that all of those things that didn't destroy us made us stronger. We're strong, resilient, self-reliant. We get it done. Through a lot of our lives, we had nobody to count on to do it. So we had to do it ourselves, no matter what it was. I'm speaking definitely for myself here. I believe that a lot of Gen Xers would agree with me on that. We had to figure out how to get it done because nobody was going to step in and do it for us. If we wanted it, we had to go get it. Cutting lawns at 10 years of age or whatever. If we wanted it, we had to go get it. If we wanted it fixed, we had to figure out how to fix it. If we wanted to eat something, we had to figure out how to cook it. It's just the way we grew up, and it seemed normal at the time. But I, for one, am glad I grew up that way. For most of the things in life, I don't have to count on anyone else. I can get it. I can have it. I just got to do it myself. And I'm not afraid to. I'm not afraid to try. I'm not afraid to fail. None of that psychological stuff affects me. I'll do it. I'll get out there and I'll give it a try. My only fear is that I didn't try, and then in years down the road, I'll look back and regret that not trying. Because at least I tried. I don't fear failure at all. Not even a little bit. And let me know in the comments how many of you are like that. Are y'all self-reliant to the extent that I am? Well, pretty much everything you'll at least try to do by yourself? Or is that just a personal thing of mine? I have a feeling that a lot more Gen Xers are like me. We get it done rather than wait around hoping somebody will come and do it for us, or wasting our money on paying somebody else to do it for us. Either way. So let me know in the comments what you think about this, and do you think that we're stronger for having lived the lives we've lived? Do you think we're stronger than other generations? Please comment down below and let me know what you think about that stuff. I'm really interested in what the rest of you Gen Xers think. I'd like to compare them to my own thoughts, and we can compare them with each other in the comments. I'll leave you there, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can buy me a cup of coffee, and I'll leave the link down in the description. If you don't want to or can't do that, then you can always share these videos on your own social media. If you're interested in Gen X gear, I'll put that link up there as well. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.